All right, today we're going to talk about a really interesting category of tools, AI video generation. Now, if you've ever had a great idea for a video, but then you thought about all the work involved and just stopped, well, this is for you. We're talking about tools that are built to turn your text, your ideas, into visual content. And to make it really practical, we're going to use a platform called Medeo as our example to see how this all works.
So here's what we'll cover. First up, we'll dig into the big challenge these tools are trying to solve. Then we'll introduce Medeo and see how it works on a high level. After that, we'll talk about who this is really for and who it's not for. We'll look at some real-world use cases, and finally, we'll wrap up with the right way to think about using these tools to get the best results.
Okay, first things first. Let's start with maybe the most important question of all. Why do these tools even exist? What problem are they actually built to solve? Understanding the why behind them is, well, it's everything.
I'm sure you've been there. You get this brilliant idea for a video. It's super exciting in your head, but then you think about the actual process of making it. The gap between that great idea and a finished, polished video can feel huge, right? It's often filled with all sorts of technical hurdles.
Yeah, think about the old way of doing things. To create something that looked professional, you had to learn really complex editing software. You'd spend hours, maybe even days, just staring at a timeline. And on top of that, you had to go out and find the right stock footage, the right music, all of it. It just made video production really slow, pretty expensive, and for a lot of people, just completely out of reach.
So that's the problem. Now, how do these new tools try to fix it? Let's get a little more specific and use Medeo as our example to see how it's designed to work.
Okay, so in one sentence, a tool like Medeo is designed to do all that heavy lifting for you. You basically give it some text, an idea, a script, whatever, and its job is to automatically build a complete video. We're talking visuals, voiceover, captions, music, the whole thing.
The way to think about using it is actually really simple. It's kind of like a three-step process. First, you give it your input. That could be a simple idea, a full script, or even just a link to a blog post. Second, the AI takes over. It generates the script, it picks out the visuals, it adds the voiceover. And then third, it comes back to you. You get to review it, make your tweaks, and then export the final video.
All right, this next part is super important for understanding any new tool. We need to talk about who it's actually for. This is all about setting the right expectations so you can figure out if it's a good fit for you.
So let's be really honest here. A tool like this is ideal for people like marketers, content creators, educators, basically anyone who needs to create video content quickly but doesn't have a background in video editing. Now, on the flip side, it's probably not going to replace the entire workflow of a professional videographer or a big film studio. For them, it's more like a tool for getting ideas out fast for rapid prototyping.
And this quote from a writer just nails it, right? The whole point is to tear down that technical wall. It makes it possible for people who are experts in their own fields, not necessarily video editing, to finally turn their knowledge into video content and do it fast.
Okay, so the theory is great, but let's make this more concrete. What does this actually look like in the real world? What are some practical ways you could use it? Well, for one, you could take a blog post you've already written, drop the URL in, and get a video summary out of it. That's a super common one. Or you could create totally new stuff, like those faceless news videos you see on social media. You can even generate more stylized content, like something for a gaming channel or an anime-style story. But you see the pattern here, right? The core idea is always the same: turning text into video, efficiently. All right, let's move on to what might be the most important part of this whole thing, the mindset. How should you think about using these tools? Because honestly, having the right approach is what makes all the difference.
You know, there's this line that Medeo uses in its own tutorials, and I think it's just perfect. It says, remember, your first video doesn't have to be perfect. Just do your best. And that's exactly it. The goal isn't to create a Hollywood masterpiece on your first go. The power here is in speed and iteration. Just get that first draft done, see how it feels, and then make it better.
And that leads to this really crucial reality check. This is not a magic button. It doesn't replace you. The best way to think about it is like having a super fast assistant. It'll do the grunt work and get you, say, 80 or 90% of the way to a finished product in just a few minutes. But that last 10 or 20%, that's you. Your judgment, your fact-checking, your final tweaks to get the tone just right, that's still absolutely essential. It's also really helpful to understand how these tools are usually priced. They almost always use a credit system. And if you look at the table, you'll see that simpler tasks, like just editing some stock footage, cost way fewer credits than asking the AI to generate a whole video from scratch. This structure actually encourages you to be smart about it.
Let the AI do the heavy lifting, but maybe you do the final creative touches yourself. It helps you control your costs and use the tool in a way that makes the most sense for you.
So, at the end of the day, the only real way to know if this kind of tool is for you is to just try it. If anything we talked about today sounded useful, my best advice is to take a small, simple idea, something low stakes, and just see what you can create. There's no substitute for that hands-on experience to figure out where it might fit in your own work.